Hello and welcome to TVB News. Honduras has formally established diplomatic ties with Beijing and severed them with Taipei. The move has left Taiwan recognized by only 13 sovereign states. Jackie Lin with more.
This joint communique signed in Beijing by Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang and Honduran Foreign Minister Eduardo Enrique Reina officially established diplomatic ties between China and Honduras and ended the relations between the Central American nation and Taiwan that dated back to the 1940s. The Honduran Foreign Ministry said in a statement it recognizes only one China in the world, and Beijing is the only legitimate government that represents all of China. It added that Taiwan is an inseparable part of Chinese territory, and the Honduran government has pledged not to have any official relationship or contact with Taiwan, a decision the Chinese Foreign Minister hailed as the right choice.
坚持一个中国原则。
Qin Gang said the move once again showed adherence to the One China principle is an overriding trend that represents international justice and that any separatist activity for Taiwan is doomed to fail.
全面停止双边合作计划。
Meanwhile, Taiwan Foreign Minister Joseph Wu also announced the island had ended its relations with Honduras to safeguard its sovereignty and dignity. He said Honduras under the reign of President Xiomara Castro had demanded exorbitant sums from Taiwan to the tune of several billion US dollars in huge economic assistance. Taiwan's leader Tsai Ing-wen said in a video statement that the island will not compete with China in meaningless dollar diplomacy. Honduran consular staffers are asked to leave Taiwan immediately. Since Tsai took office in 2016, 9 nations have severed ties with Taiwan. The self-ruled island is now left with 13 diplomatic allies. Jackie Lin, TVB News.
Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has canceled a trip to China due to medical reasons. The visit, originally set to take place on March 27th to 31st, will be rescheduled for a later date. According to Lula's press secretary, the president was diagnosed with bacterial and viral bronchopneumonia caused by influenza A, and the 77-year-old has begun his treatment. Doctors said he should postpone the trip until the viral transmission cycle ends. The trip was to include a meeting with President Xi Jinping. It was viewed as a major effort by Lula, who took office in January, to enhance relations with Beijing. The Chinese Foreign Ministry today said China wishes Lula a speedy recovery and will stay in communication with Brazil about his visit to China. And back here at home, around 80 homeowners marched against a reclamation plan in Chungkwano this morning. It marked the city's first protest march with a letter of no objection from the police in 3 years. Veronica Lin has the story.
Marching in drizzling rain are around 80 homeowners protesting against a plan that would see the government reclaim land in Chungkwano's Area 132. Organized by Housing Complex Metro Town's Owners Committee, the march started at 11 a.m. outside the Tugay Lane Sports Center and ended at the Chungkwano Waterfront Park. Kill the plan, oppose the reclamation and concrete plans, read some of the banners. James Okeden, a 49-year-old British journalist who brought his 3 kids to the protest, finds the reclamation plan disgusting and believes the government is incapable of enforcing environmental laws.
I've previously raised the issue of the concrete plants of Yaotong, which are very dirty, they pollute the environment. The government does not enforce environmental law or health and safety there at all. And now the government wants to move them to Area 132, which is what these residents are protesting about, because it will completely destroy the character of the area and will pollute the area. It's going to create an industrial ghetto, basically, just off the coast here, on reclaimed land.
Unprecedentedly, protesters were required to wear number tags. A mask ban and a quota of 100 participants were enforced. During the march, the protesters were cordoned off from other people, such as reporters and bystanders all along the way.
The government is clamping down on protest now. We can see that by the fact we have to wear numbers around our chests to take part in a protest. It's humiliating. They're treating us like sheep. You know, we have to have a dog tag, you know, on our ear. I really don't want to see that.
He added that spontaneous protests make up the core fabric of Hong Kong society.
即係我希望係一個個別嘅事件。
Cyrus Chan, one of the organizers, hopes this rally shows that Hong Kongers are fully capable of peaceful protest. Even the rain can't dampen these homeowners' determination to protest the reclamation plan. Despite the low turnout, the event went off without a hitch, the first protest march with a letter of no objection from police since the pandemic began. Veronica Lin, TVB News.
Financial Secretary Paul Chan said Hong Kong is striving to establish deeper and broader ties with international partners after a successful end to a summit held to attract global family businesses. In his blog, the finance chief said the Wealth for Good in Hong Kong summit, which was held on Friday, was attended by 400 representatives from more than 100 international family offices. He added that many representatives praised Hong Kong's speedy economic recovery after the pandemic, saying they were prepared to establish family offices in the region. The financial secretary, meanwhile, will head to Malaysia and Singapore today to meet business sector representatives and government officials to promote the SAR. The recent collapse of two mid-sized banks in the U.S. and the Credit Suisse crisis have sent jitters to financial markets around the world. Speaking to TVB News, financial expert Wilson Chan gave a grim outlook for the global economy complicated by geopolitics. But he also thinks that it could give Hong Kong some opportunities. Sharon Tang reports.
Just days ago, the Federal Reserve in the U.S. announced another interest rate hike. The Hong Kong Monetary Authority subsequently warned of uncertainties ahead, asking investors to be cautious. Some analysts expect the U.S. will end its rate hike cycle in May, something senior banker and consultant Wilson Chan disagrees.
Why the U.S. increased the interest rate? We all know that the crisis in Europe or the war. So because of the war, sanction, and also supply chain, and then inflation. If we can't solve the core problem, that means the US still try to sanction, and inflation will be here, and interest rate will go higher. Even though the inflation could stop, but we can imagine some other problems might happen, such as economic turndown.
When geopolitics comes into play, Chan said now could be the best time for Hong Kong to make use of its advantage of being the largest offshore renminbi center.
U.S. government tried to attack the China government and also some Chinese enterprise. Imagine if the Chinese companies will have such a treatment, such situation like Russia. So their asset and also their saving will be banned or held or even frozen by the U.S. the system. All this kind of impact have already give a chance to Hong Kong. Because in Hong Kong, we have, of course, we have US dollar system. At the same time, we also got renminbi system, or CIS. This system would not be affected by the US. So such kind of money is better to put their money in Hong Kong instead of keeping them in the US system.
He noted one strong proof is that HIBOR, or Hong Kong Interbank Offered Rate, has been trending higher than usual, even more so than the US dollar rate, an indication that Hong Kong has been getting a lot of inflow of funds. Sharon Tang, TVB News.
Meantime, more protests in France, this time in the rural West, where environmentalists clashed with police over the creation of a large water reservoir for farm irrigation. Despite a ban on gatherings in the area, thousands of protesters converged on the site of the planned reservoir in the district of Sainte-Soline, where a similar protest last October resulted in injuries. Police fired tear gas to repel some protesters who threw fireworks and other projectiles as they crossed fields to approach the fenced-off construction area. At least 2 police vehicles caught fire. The protest comes after weeks of demonstrations in France against a pension reform that have also turned violent. Welcome back. India's top opposition leader Rahul Gandhi said he won't stop asking tough questions about the government of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Gandhi was disqualified from Parliament on Friday. This came a day after a court convicted him of defamation and sentenced him to 2 years in prison for mocking the surname Modi in an election speech. Tracy Furness has more.
Protesters were out in force Saturday as India's opposition leader Rahul Gandhi was disqualified by Parliament to lead the Congress party. Gandhi was found guilty by a Gujarat court for a 2019 speech in which he referred to thieves as having the surname Modi, the name of the Prime Minister. The 52-year-old, who represented a constituency in southern Kerala state as a member of the Congress party, made the comment while campaigning ahead of the last general election. The court granted him bail and suspended his jail sentence for 30 days, allowing him to appeal.
I'm here defending the democratic voice of the Indian people. I will continue to do that. I'm not scared of these threats, of these disqualifications, of these allegations, of these prison sentences. I don't care. I'm not scared of them. Okay? These people don't understand me yet. I am not scared of them. They are used to everybody being scared of them. I am not scared of them.
Gandhi was speaking for the first time since his conviction. Gandhi is a member of a dynasty that has given India 3 prime ministers. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
And back here at home, since the border between Hong Kong and the mainland has fully reopened, low-priced package tours have reappeared in some districts, such as To Kwa Wan. Area residents hope authorities will strengthen their management in the districts to avoid overcrowded streets. Mimo Sangai reports.
This was the scene at Songon Street in To Kwa Wan during lunch hours. The street was packed with mainland tour groups, with coaches constantly coming and dropping off tourists. Police had to direct the traffic. What was the tourist attraction on this street then? The destination for all the tourists was this restaurant that serves $40 lunch meals. This woman came from Chongqing. She said the 10-day tour cost her $1,000. She said the tour guide had brought the group to Wang Tai Sin this morning before coming to To Kwa Wan to have lunch. When asked about how she felt about the arrangement for the tour, this woman said she is pleased and satisfied. However, the restaurant is next to some residential areas. Some residents said their daily lives are affected by the number of tours in the area. For instance, this man said the streets are often blocked by tourists, leaving no room for pedestrians to walk. Meanwhile, chairman of the Hong Kong Tourism Industry Employees General Union, Sarah Learn, expressed her concerns about low-priced package tours. She said not only do these groups of visitors affect the lives of residents, they will also damage Hong Kong's reputation of being a tourism hotspot. Mimo Sanai, TVB News.
Currently, the city's public non-emergency dental services are mostly reserved for primary students and civil servants. A concern group found the city's disadvantaged people tend to leave their dental problems untreated until it's too late. Jackie Lin with more.
There's no way I could survive if I fork out nearly $3,000 to extract one decayed tooth at private clinics. I still have other daily expenses to cover. This lady's protest reflects the dire need among many Hong Kongers from disadvantaged backgrounds, as shown in the latest survey conducted by the Concern Group for the dental health of underprivileged people in central, western, and southern districts. Among some 400 people they surveyed in February and March, 40% would only seek dental services when they suffer from tooth decay or loosened teeth. While the Department of Health recommends adults receive dental checkups once a year, less than 40% of respondents did so over the past year. And only some 20% of the 150 respondents who reside in so-called inadequate housing, such as subdivided flats, would take the annual trip for their dental health. The group called on the government to roll out subsidies or medical vouchers for the disadvantaged to receive regular oral care at private clinics. The body also urged the government to set up at least one public dental clinic in each district and include dental treatment as part of the city's primary healthcare services. Jackie Lin, TVB News.
The Kowloon Motor Bus Company, or KMB, today offered free rides on their solar panel buses to citizens. The 96-hour bus route runs to and from Diamond Hill and Wong Shek Pier. These buses are equipped with ultra-thin solar panels, which power a fan system even when the vehicles are idle. They claim to reduce temperatures inside the buses by 8 to 10 degrees. The buses would also save 5 to 8% of gas, resulting in up to 6 tons fewer carbon dioxide emissions per bus a year. KMB says their goal is to increase the number of its solar panel buses to 2,000 by the end of this year. And 2 fire search and rescue dogs that went to Turkey to conduct disaster relief missions last month were invited to Government House today. Chief Executive John Lee invited 3 fire search and rescue dogs to Government House as his honored guests. Among them, Twix and Umi participated in the Hong Kong rescue operation in Turkey after a devastating earthquake last month. The third dog is Umi's sister, Uma. Lee treated the dogs to their favorite snacks to thank them for their efforts in the operation. That's the news. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.